play. Grace in my stride, wisdom in my mind. I've built the kind of life I dreamed I'd find. I've become a woman I look up to, strong and untouchable. It's what I do, radiating power, confidence so high. I'm not just living, I'm learning to fly. Men may desire, but I define me. Unstoppable force, wild and free. I've become the woman I look up to, and I'm loving every shade of truth. The spiritual reset. Returning to God, returning to myself. Welcome back to Becoming Her. I'm your host, Colleen Chippy, and today's episode is sacred. This is a conversation about the moment many of us reach quietly. The moment we realize we don't need another strategy, another explanation, another version of ourselves. We need a reset, a spiritual reset, a return to God. And that return, or in that return, a return to ourselves. This episode is for every woman who feels pulled inwards, not away from life, but deeper into truth. Let's begin. When life gets loud, the soul gets quiet. Life is a way of pulling us outwards. Responsibilities, expectations, survival, pressure, noise. And slowly, without realizing it, we drift away from our spiritual center. Not because we stopped believing, but because we stopped listening. Spiritual disconnection doesn't always look like rebellion. Sometimes it looks like exhaustion. It looks like doing everything right on the outside while feeling empty on the inside. The soul doesn't shout when it needs attention. It whispers. And eventually, it asks us to pause. A spiritual reset is not failure. Needing a reset does not mean you've failed. It means you've grown, you've stretched. It means you've carried more than your spirit was meant to hold alone. A reset is not quitting, it's realigning. God does not shame us for needing rest, clarity, or reconnection. He invites us. A spiritual reset is an act of humility, acknowledging that we cannot do life alone. We were never meant to. Returning to God is returning to peace. When you return to God, you don't return to judgment. You return to peace, to stillness, to grounding, to truth. God doesn't rush you, He restores you. In the presence of God, you're not In the presence of God, you're not required to perform. You are allowed to breathe, to lay down burdens, to admit confusion, to be honest. Returning to God is not about perfection, it's about presence. Now, before we go deeper, I want to share something deeply connected to this moment. My book, Becoming Her, A Journey Back to Myself. It was written from this very place. A return to God, a return to self, a return to alignment. It's a reflective guide for women who are rebuilding spiritually, emotionally, and internally. If this book or this episode resonates, that book will walk with you gently. The link is in the description, and I'm asking you to check it out. Please. When you return to God, you begin to hear yourself again. One of the most beautiful things about spiritual alignment is how it reconnects you to your own voice. The noise quiets, the fear softens, the confusion settles, and slowly you remember who you are. Many women think they've lost themselves, but often they've just lost the silence. God speaks softly, and when we return to Him, we also return the parts of ourselves that we buried under the noise or under the pressure of life. A reset requires surrender, not control. A spiritual reset asks for surrender, not control, not force, not constant fixing, just trust. Surrender is saying, I don't need to have it all together. I don't need to have all the answers. It's allowing God to lead instead of pushing your own understanding. Control exhausts the spirit. Surrender restores it. God restores before He reveals. Often we want answers before rest, direction before healing, purpose before peace. But God restores first. Restoration prepares you to receive what's next. When God restores your spirit, it's your clarity returns naturally. You don't chase purpose. It meets you where you are healed. Return to yourself is an holy act, or a holy act. Returning to yourself is not selfish. It's sacred. You were created with intention, with intuition, with spiritual depth. Returning to yourself means honoring how God designed you. You're not meant to abandon yourself to serve others. God doesn't ask for self eraser, or put it this way, God does not ask you to erase yourself. He asks for alignment. When you return to yourself, you return to your God-given identity. Stillness is where the reset happens. The reset doesn't happen in motion. It happens in stillness, in prayer, in reflection, in quiet obedience. Stillness is uncomfortable at first because it removes distraction.
but it's in the stillness that healing occurs. God restores us in the quiet moments we often try to avoid. Now, before you go, please take the time to like, comment, subscribe, and share if this message spoke to you. It helps women find this podcast and join us in this becoming journey. Now, the reset leads to renewal. After a reset, things don't return to how they were. They become clearer, simpler, more aligned. You don't just feel closer to God, you feel closer to yourself. Renewal doesn't always change your circumstances immediately, but it changes how you walk through them. And that shift is powerful. Now, and before I close, I want to share something else with you. My new book, 1 Coco, Full Basket. The power of patience, consistency, and small steps. It speaks directly to seasons like this. It reminds us that spiritual growth, healing, and becoming don't happen overnight. They happen one small, faithful step at a time. If you're in a slow, sacred rebuilding season, this book is for you. The link is also in the description. Feel free to check it out. And in closing, a spiritual reset is not an ending. It's a return to God, a return to truth, a return to peace, a return to yourself. So honor this season. I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, remember, you are already her. You're just walking back home to her with God by your side. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me. Blessings, love, and light. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.
Every scar, every tear, carve me into gold. Turn my fears into stories untold. I exude power like the stars at night, a beacon of strength and unstoppable light. I don't bend for love, I stand tall in my glow. The respect I demand is the respect they show.